So guys, I was just uploading a new YouTube video and I was flicking through Instagram and stuff like that, and basically this Amkov R5 popped up on the old Kickstarter thing. I remember a camera about 5 or 6 years ago, probably maybe even more, by Amkov. I remembered the name, and it was something they released and it was terrible. It was literally super cheap, awful. Mobile phone was miles better at taking photos. This thing is a Sony sensor and processing power, I suppose. Um, and It's going to be, well, we'll click on the back of this project in a minute to find out. But um, yeah, it could be interesting. So obviously, cameras are expensive. So they've tried to make a cost-effective mirrorless camera for $169. So who knows what it's going to be like? But it's using a Sony CMOS sensor, probably from 5 or 6 years ago. No doubt they probably got bought a load cheap from Sony's stock. The fact it does a little bit of macro. Did they use that camera for those photos? Who knows? Simple menus and everything on the screen. Apparently it's got tracking of some sort. But it looks interesting. I mean, as a little vlogging camera, maybe it would be alright. I mean, apparently it does 4K 60 with time lapse and snapshot videos, macro function. Yeah, so I don't know. Is it worth $169 or 169 quid or whatever it will be? In the real world, I have no idea, and you just don't know if those images were taken in the video with that camera. I have no idea. I mean, it's showing it can do stuff, which is quite good, but it makes you wonder, for 169 quid or dollars, what is really going to be like. Yeah, so there's no way I'm buying one, but I just thought it'd be quite funny to have a look. And if you are on a real budget, I mean, apparently estimated delivery October 2023. I mean, they've had enough money on it, $45,000, $249 in apparently. So 100. So if you backed it with Hong Kong dollars, I guess, which is apparently 1,166. I don't know how much that relates to. I haven't actually looked. You get it for $149. You get a one battery, the actual camera, charging cable, lens cap, and a lanyard. I mean, 191 backers, 29 left. People have been backing it. You get what's this one here? Oh, early bird. We're still saying October 23. I don't know. Anyway, there's a few options here. You can buy up to 3 at once for $499. So you obviously get a bit more off the price. But yeah, I mean, it could be good, but in the real world, it's probably terrible. I'm just checking because that sounds like a plane, and it could be this bit far. No, oh maybe. No, oh no, it's just a helicopter. Oh, what was it? Oh, it's the air ambulance cruising past. Yeah. So I mean, very basic camera, very basic camera. But if you want a cheap holiday camera, maybe that you kind of want that experience of actually holding a proper camera rather than your phone, maybe it's worth a little look. 4K UHD. I mean, the sticker on the side looks cheap. I mean, someone spent a lot of money with the old Photoshop editing here, adding a lens flare in. It's got a 2G 6P crystal lens, whatever that means. 48 megapixel resolution. Really? Okay. What? 48 megapixels? Maybe that's the sensor out of the DJI Mini 3 Pro, because that's 48 megapixels. Or it may be one out of the the Air 2S, possibly, because that's Sony sensors, isn't it? 5 times optical zoom, 8 times digital zoom. Woohoo! Time lapse video, snapshot video, autofocus, automatic focusing. Wow. Macro recording, 1300 milliamp battery, a 3-inch flip display. Wow. Somehow that photo there was not taken with this camera. Going by the lack of depth of, I mean, really, the depth of field. What's the actual lens on it though? We can't really tell what f-stops it can do, but there's no way these, I don't think somehow these pictures are from it. Somehow they're keeping a bit under wraps, aren't they? With it looks cheap though, doesn't it, guys? Most of the mirrorless cameras on the market are expensive, which is not friendly to the students or amateur photography enthusiasts with low incomes. However, I mean, if you put it like that, and you know, if you've got countries around the world where there's lots of people who don't have a lot of money and they just want a camera, I mean, I understand that totally. I think that's not a bad thing at all. It gets people into photography. But if I go on to Wex in a minute, so for $149, £149, when it'll be, what was it, only £149 if you back the thing. I think it's £249, wasn't it? So say if we said 250 quid, what can we buy used for 250 quid? Something a lot better than this, I would say. 48 mega high resolution, 4K 60 video recording, allowing you to capture high. Sony A6000. To be honest, yeah, I mean, they're using, what was it? Supports external microphone. Built-in macro effect. Well, yeah, interesting. I like you read these rather than me actually reading them out. I mean, it is almost comical in some respects. Oh, hang on, it said it there. What did the lens say? Oh, it's too quick. 3.52 millimeters. So, yeah, it's definitely a small sensor. Definitely a little sensor. I mean, you can loop record on it. I mean, retractable filler light. They mean a flash. I mean the resolution of that rear screen. People are moaning about the A6700's rear screen, but 360 by 640p. 100. It's got 180 flip though. Oh, you can't tell what the lenses are. I mean, it's got USB-C, which is quite amazing. Oh, micro SD card. Wow. Interesting though. I mean, hats off to a company that are trying to make something affordable for the world, if you know what I mean. You know, it could be anywhere that they sell it. I mean, they don't tell you much about it though. That's the thing. I mean, it's that basic. Yeah, interesting. I mean, super basic strap as well. I mean, you can imagine. I mean, the reason that cameras are expensive is because there's a lot of R&D goes into it, and where something like this has been made using older technology, some newer parts like the USB-C, for example, but a lot of the lens design would have been from something else. The sensor would have been used from something else, and they've bought them from Sony, which is great because you know the sensor's going to be good. You know, so it's basically, you know, yeah, interesting to see how they've built something like that, you know, via a low budget, really. Interesting. So they've taken inspiration from loads of other cameras as well, like the RX 100 and stuff like that, where the screen flips up at the back, and you know, obviously a fixed lens and everything like that. To be honest, it's probably quite a fun little camera just to wander around with and try and be creative with, because you haven't got too many frills with it. You know, it's going to be restrictive. It's going to be slow. But I just saw it and thought, blimey, that's interesting. The cost-effective mirrorless camera. Yeah, so let's have a look at a £250 used camera. Let's see what we can find. So I've gone to Wex. Obviously, they've got loads of used stuff on here. So we click on cameras, which is the things. Use compact camera, because that's basically what we're looking at. Obviously, we've got some high end stuff, but let's change the range to. Can we order by? Oh, here we go. Lowest price. I mean, if you really want to put it out there, you could buy a used RX10, the original one, for 220 quid. So we've got a £250 budget, if you think about this. So not as fast or as anything like that, the RX10 Mark IV, but the RX10, again, was still a good camera. You know, that sensor's going to be pretty reliable. The 1-inch sensor is going to be bigger than the one that's in that Amcov R5 camera. Build quality, obviously, is going to be loads. You've got I don't know what lens was on this one. I can't remember now. 24 to 200. So yeah, f2. I think it's f2.8 through the range as well. Constant f2.8. So yeah, not a bad buy, that one. Or if you want something for the pocket, 248 quid, the RX100, Mark II as well. Or the Panasonic Lumix. My sister had one of these. Yeah, good little camera. But now we're getting into the 300s mark. So you've got 3 cameras there. I mean, unless you want a used PowerShot Zoom Essential thing. But you've got, for 220 quid, that RX10 there, the RX100 Mark II, and the Panasonic Lumix TZ90. All really actually good cameras for that much money. I think I would rather buy a used one, especially from Wex if you're in this country and you're looking at cheap cameras. They put a year warranty on it anyway, so it's basically like buying a new camera. So yeah, as interesting as the AMROC is, personally, if I was going to spend the money on, and I had a very small budget, I'd look at the used market and you know, get out there and buy stuff. And if you really want to go crazy, you can go to used DSLRs, and you can pick these up for peanuts, literally peanuts. Go to buy lowest price, cheapest DSLR, 30 quid. So an EOS 20D. So you can have interchangeable lenses for £30 plus a lens, which it's just nuts. How technology has moved on, that we can now buy an old DSLR, probably from mid 2006 or something upwards, 2007 or something, I don't know, for £30, 30 quid. It's mad. I'm almost tempted to buy. I mean, what's the worst case scenario? £100 for a Nikon D3200, and they're trying to shift the stock anyway because they've reduced the prices and stuff. So it was 148 quid. D300S for 98 quid. So that was a 12, 13, 1400 quid camera originally. It's £100. Well, it's in use condition 7, but madness. What else we got? Let's go a bit further. But still, you could buy a good setup for less than 500 quid, basically. Because there's nothing wrong with a DSLR at all. Mirrorless is obviously the way forward now, but you know, you only got to look back when DSLRs are out. There's still some amazing photos being taken by photographers. I mean, a Nikon D610 for £289. Mad. And I've looked at the used market already. Well, they offer a 12-month warranty on all used products unless otherwise stated. That's nuts, isn't it? So anyway, back to the AMROC. Personally, I don't think I'd buy one, but I just thought it was interesting to look. It was a cost-effective mirrorless camera. The fact it is a mirrorless, I guess, but at the same time, it's gonna be shit, isn't it? Ideal for the countries with not much money, where people are on very, very low income and stuff like that, who can't afford a camera maybe. But I get it. But yeah, I mean, but at least some of the technologies in there. I think that sensor is out of one of the drones, though. It's a small sensor, and I mean, the fact it can do 4K 60 is quite cool. But I have no idea what the quality is going to be like. The processing power, if they connected it to a Sony processing unit and everything like that, it may be okay, but until we see some real world uses of it. But their original one, the AMROC camera, I can't remember what it was even called, was not even as good as a mobile phone. Photos are coming off that, I remember. So anyway, let me know what you think about this. It's just funny. Yeah, I don't know why it's called the R5, probably because Canon called one of their cameras an R5 maybe. But that might be a lawsuit waiting to happen from Canon. But yeah, anyway, I'll catch you later.